Hello everyone, my name is Garima. Welcome to my YouTube channel Crack CSA Exam with Ease. I hope you found my previous videos helpful. In this video, we are going to solve previous year question of March 2026. So let's move to the question number 1. In the international system of units, the unit of force is, since force is measured in Newton, so unit of force is Newton and energy is measured in joule. The SI unit of resistance is ohm and power is measured in watt. So option A is correct. Question number 2. Among the kinematics quantities, velocity, time, acceleration, speed, the number of vector quantities are. We know that there are two types of physical quantity. First, one is vector quantity and second is scalar quantity. Vector quantities are those which has direction and magnitude, and scalar quantities are those which has only magnitude. So there are four quantities which are given, in which velocity and acceleration are vector quantity and time and speed is scalar quantity. So the number of vector quantities is 2. Question number 3. An object has a gravitational force F is equal to 60 Newton. Its mass is G is given as 10 meter per second square. Here force is given as 60 Newton. G is given as 10 meter per second square. We know that force is equal to mass times acceleration. So mass will be equal to force by G, which is equal to 60 by 10, that will be equal to 6 kg. So option C is correct. Question number 4. The minimum resultant force of two forces 7 Newton and 8 Newton is. Here F1 is given as 7 Newton and F2 is 8 Newton. So minimum force will be F1 minus F2, that is equal to 7 minus 8. So minimum force will be 1 Newton. So option A is correct. Question number 5. An object starts from rest and undergoes uniformly accelerated linear motion. Its displacement during the first second is 2 meter. Its displacement during the second is. Here initial velocity of particle is given at 0 meter per second. S1, that is the displacement in first second, is 2 meter, and we need to calculate displacement in second. We know that displacement in nth second of particle is u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1, where u is initial velocity, e is acceleration, n is the number of second. So in first second, we will put n is equal to 1, u is equal to 0. So we will get s1 is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2 into 1 minus 1. So from this, we will get acceleration is equal to 4 meter per second square. Now we will calculate displacement in second and we will put n is equal to 2. It will become u plus a by 2 into 2 minus 1. So we will get s2 is equal to 6 meters. So option D is correct. Question number 6. An object falls freely from a certain height and covers half of total distance in first second. The additional time needed to reach the ground is. Here, the particle is dropped with the initial velocity of 0 meter per second from the height of h, and from second equation of motion, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Here, the displacement of particle is minus h by 2, and the time taken by particle is 1 second. So we will get h is equal to 0. Now let capital T be the time to cover the distance of height h. So s is equal to ut plus half at square. Displacement will be minus h, which is equal to initial velocity is 0. Acceleration due to gravity will be minus g into capital T square. Then when we solve this, t will become root 2. And we have to calculate what is the time taken by particle to reach the ground in another second. So it will be root 2 minus 1. So option A is correct. An outdoor fitness device is shown in figure. As the wheel rotates, the linear velocity at points A and B have a relation given by. Here, the object is given as the wheel, and A and B are the 2 points of the particle. Let RA be the distance of particle from the center and RB the distance of particle from center. So we know that linear velocity of particle is r times omega, where omega is angular velocity. Since distance of particle B is greater than distance of particle A from center, so velocity of particle B will be greater than velocity of particle A. So option B is correct. Question number 8. A 2 kg object on a smooth horizontal surface is subject to a 220 Newton pulling force. Its acceleration is. Here, mass of object is given as 2 kg and force is 20 Newton. We know that force is equal to mass times acceleration, so acceleration will be force by mass. We will put the value of force, that is 20, and mass, which is equal to 2. So we will get acceleration is equal to 10 meter per second square. So option C is correct. Question number 9. A 0.4 kg object is at rest on 30-degree inclined plane. The impulse of frictional force acting on the object over 5 seconds is. G is given as 10 meter per second square. Since object is rest, so frictional force will be equal to mg sine 30 degree, where 30 degree is the angle of inclination. We will put the value of mass, that is zero point 0.4, acceleration due to gravity g, that is 10, and sine 30 is half. Then when we solve this, the friction will become 2 Newton. We know that impulse is equal to force into time. We will put the value of force, that is 2 Newton, and time, that is 5 second. So impulse will be equal to 10 Newton second. Option D is correct. Question number 10. In a uniform magnetic field, a strength wire with the length 0.5 meter is placed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. When passing through a current of 10 ampere, it experiences an ampere force of 1.5 Newton. The magnitude of magnetic flux density of the magnetic field is. Here the current is flowing through a wire, and this current carrying wire is making a 90-degree with the magnetic field. We know that the force experienced by a wire will be I into L cross B, which is equal to ILB sine theta. So B will be equal to force by I into L sine 90. We will put the value of force, that is 1.5, current, that is 10, length, which is 0.5, into sine 90 is 1. So when we solve this, B will be equal to zero point 0.3 Tesla. So option C is correct. Question number 11. In the displacement time graph of simple harmonic vibration, the relationship of speeds at point A and B is. In simple harmonic motion, we know that velocity of particle at any point will be equal to omega into root of a square minus x square, where omega is angular velocity, a is amplitude of particle, and x is the displacement. Since at point A and B the displacement of particle is same, so velocity of particle A will be equal to velocity of particle B. So option A is correct. Question number 12. The graph of displacement of a toy car moving in a straight line changing with time is shown in figure. Which of the following statement is correct? Within 0 to 4, the speed of car is. We know that speed is equal to distance by time. Here the distance covered by car is 4 meter and the total time is 4 seconds. So speed will be equal to 1 meter per second. Within 0 to 5 seconds, the average speed of car is. Average speed is given as distance by time. So from 0 to 4 second, the distance covered by particle is 4 meter, and from 4 to 5 second, the distance covered by particle is 4 meter. So total distance will be 8 meter and the time taken is 5 second. So it will be equal, so this will be equal to 1.6 meter per second. Option C, within 4 to 5 seconds, the speed of toy car is. Speed is equal to distance by time, and the distance covered by particle from 4 to 5 seconds is 4 meter, and the total time taken by particle is 1 meter 1 second. So this will be equal to 4 meter per second. Within 0 to 4 seconds, the displacement of particle is 4 meter. So according to this, option A is correct. Question number 13. A 4 kg car moving at 3 meter per second collides and couples with a stationary 3 kg cart. The total momentum after collision is. Here the mass of car is 4 kg, which is moving with the initial velocity of 3 meter per second. And here mass of cart is given as 3 kg, which is at rest. So, according to conservation of momentum, initial momentum will be equal to final momentum. We will calculate initial momentum, that will be equal to m1u plus m2v, that is equal to 4 into 3 plus 3 into 0, that will be equal to 12 kg meter per second. We know that final momentum will be equal to initial momentum, so it will also be 12 kg meter per second. So option B is correct. Question number 14. The figure in the displacement time graph of two moving objects A and B during 0 to 30 seconds, the average speeds VA and VB satisfy. For object B, the graph is straight line from x equal to 0 to x equal to 30. That means it moves directly without turning back. So its total distance will be exactly equal to 30 meter. But for object A, the graph is a curve that starts at x equal to 0, rises to a peak above to 30 meter and returns to x equal to 30. That means the total distance covered by object will be greater than 30 meter. So velocity of particle A will be greater than velocity of particle B. Question number 15. The velocity time graph of 5 kg block under a vertical object is given below. Its kinetic energy changes between t is equal to 0 to 6 seconds. Here mass is given as 5 kg and we have to find the change in kinetic energy, which is equal to final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. Here final velocity of particle is 0 and initial velocity is 2 meter per second from graph. So change in kinetic energy will be equal to half into mass, that is 5, into final velocity, that is 0, minus initial velocity, that is 2. When we solve this, we will get kinetic energy is equal to minus 10 joules. Since kinetic energy is always positive, so option A is correct. Question number 16. When a light enters a medium from air with an angle of incidence I is equal to 60 degree and the angle of refraction R is equal to 30 degree, if the refractive index of air is n is equal to 1, then the refractive index of medium is. Here I is the angle of incidence, which is given as 60 degree, and angle of refraction is 30 degree. Since ray is moving from rarer medium to denser medium, so it will bend towards normal. So according to Snell's law, n1 sin I is equal to n2 sin R, where n1 is the refractive index of air, which is equal to 1, and angle of incidence, that is 60 degree, and n2 is refractive index of medium, angle R, that is 30 degree. So n2 will be equal to sin 30 by sin 60 by sin 30. And when we put the value of sin 60, that is root 3 by 2, and sin 30, that is half, so n2 will be equal to root 3. So option B is correct. Question number 17. Which of the following graph does not represent the uniform motion? Uh, since in the options A and C, the graph between displacement and time is a straight line, so it is a uniform motion. In option D, the distance of particle is not changing, it is constant. So this is also a linear motion. Only in option B, the displacement of particle is changes with the time, so it is a non-uniform motion. Option B is correct. Question number 18. A particle moves along a circular path of radius r, completes one revolution, and returns to original position. Its displacement and distance travel r. Displacement is the shortest path between final point and initial point. Since particle starts from a point and return back to a point, so the total displacement will be 0, and distance is the total path covered by object. Particle starts from A and return back to point A. So total distance will be 2 pi r. So option C is correct. Question number 19. A mechanical wave with the frequency of 40 Hz propagate at 280 meter per second. Its wavelength is. Here frequency is given as 40 Hz and velocity is given as 280 meter per second. We know that frequency is equal to velocity by wavelength. So wavelength will be equal to velocity by frequency. We will put the value of velocity is that is 280 and frequency that is 40. When we solve this, it will become 7 meter. So option D is correct. Question number 20. If a water droplet with the initial velocity falls from a 5-meter high eaves, excluding air resistance, the speed at which the water droplet falls to the ground is g is given as 10 meter per second square. Here water is dropped from a height of 5 meter with the initial velocity is 0. We will use the second equation of motion, that is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Here initial velocity will be 0, acceleration will be acceleration due to gravity, that is minus g. Displacement of particle is minus 5. So v square will be equal to 2 into minus 10 into minus 5, which is equal to v square, that is 100. So v will be equal to 10 meter per second. So option B is correct. I hope you like the video. Thank you for watching.